Welcome back to Thasmin and Djarins. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Hello, welcome back to Thasmin and Djarins. It's the end of 2022. What? And yes, it has been a big year. It's been quite a strong year in Doctor 2 and of course Star Wars as well. And I want to talk about some of my highlights and what I loved, and maybe a little bit of positive critique there. But you're here for the highlights, so it's going to be mostly that. So I'm going to begin with doing it in chronological order. So I'm going to start from Eve of the Daleks to Andor and Tales of the Jedi. So let's begin. Eve of Daleks began the year off, and it was definitely one of the strong episodes of the year. It wasn't my personal favourite, but I will say it's one of the strongest, and I like the whole time loop element because it made the story more threatening, and I like the whole risk element, which made the episode so great and stand out. But for me, my pick is probably the Thasmin development, and I love that. I think with Dan, you can put some question marks onto that if you're going to be honest and stuff like that. However, I loved how supportive he is. Manic Girl really brought Yaz to life there. It was a very strong scene, and I think the scene in itself is definitely so beautiful. And I would like to add, there's a few characters have coming out over 2022. For example, we have Ashton from High School Musical, the series, and of course Isaac Hidden Tooth from Go CBC. He came out this year, and there's just so much LP representation that has come out this year. But back to the dots, yeah, that coming out scene, what a moment. But yeah, the whole episode was amazing. Then we move on to probably a series that I feel is very underrated. It's the Book of Boba Fett. There was the Dream Team, Tamara Morrison and Ming-Na Wen, who you will heard me speak about on this podcast a lot because they're really amazing people and play amazing characters and amazing chemistry. And I think it's definitely still stands out because there's also the Tusken Raiders. You've also got Peli Motto, but also the awaited Mando Grogu reunion, and also Luke Skywalker and Ahsoka Tano. It's just, yes, could it have done better without the cameos? I don't know, but it helped the story a lot. And I think it's still a series that I think deserves a second chance going forward because I think there's potential here with Tem and Ming-Na, and I just feel like this is such a beautiful piece of Star Wars that I think we needed, and it really just shows the fact that you can do anything. There's a lot of Jedi shows around, for example, we've got Ahsoka coming next year, and then you've also had the original trilogy, which is all Jedi based. So in terms of the Bad Batch and of course El Mandalorian, it feels nice to have a non-Jedi lead, and Tem does that brilliantly, and I just think it still really is amazing to talk about. And I do agree on what Tem said about him wanting more badass in his characterization. I think he's got a point. I just hope we get more badass Bo, because it was one of the best things about it. We did get some badass in Book of Boba Fett, but I feel Tem deserves more than that. So I'm hoping he gets a second chance, because this series has potential. Legend of the Sea Devils is probably one of my highlights of the whole year, because I feel like it's something that has a soundtrack and scenes that I watch over and over, and I think that's really crucial for me as a fan, because this era has something special, and for Manic Girl and Joey to come into this episode and blow my mind with their performance and finally show Thasmin on screen together after it was announced to be canon, I think that's what makes this episode a lot more than just an episode. It's art. It's art. And I think with everything else added into, which I think is superb, you need like something strong. And I think even though this episode does well on its own, the Thasmin bits just bring me joy, bring me emotion, and that soundtrack at the end. And this is something I've listened to a lot recently. Most of the times when I'm watching it or when I'm thinking while listening, it sometimes moves me. And not just with Gaz or 13, it moves me with other characters, specifically Din Djarin and Grogu Djarin. Because I was listening to this when I was watching, I was looking at some gifs of theirs, and it really brought home, it also works with them. So, to be honest, this episode can work with anything else as long as it's just the music. But to be honest, this episode, to me, is so a favourite of mine. Obi-Wan Kenobi wasn't one of the things I really enjoyed personally. However, the last 2 episodes for me personally brought out something unique and very emotional, especially with the Obi-Wan and Leia relationship, which I think was so beautiful. Especially that last scene between them, because it just has that magical moment, maybe like Narnia or Edwards or something like that, but it has that quality. And I love the use of Hayden Christensen as Anakin Skywalker, aka Darth Vader. I also think there's some amazing talent in this series along with young talent as well, with Grant Feely and Vivian Laura Brer. I think they were so amazing. And I think sometimes some series aren't as perfect, but they do have something magical. I watched the first 3 episodes of Andor, and I feel like even though it's not my thing because it's too dark, I think there's something amazing about the series, and it definitely has a quality that I think a lot of people see, and it is very popular in the Star Wars community. It's gotten nominations. For me, what stood out for me, it's gotta be Diego Luna's Cassian Andor, because I feel like what they did was the right direction, because it's important to see him have that low to turn him into the hero everyone knows in Rogue One. And I think Diego did a really great job, and Tony Gilroy and everyone and every other member of cast and crew made it very special. And I think it's going to be exciting to see what's next for him and what is next. The Power of the Doctor for me is definitely one of those episodes that really stands out for all the right reasons, and maybe it's just because last episode it kind of has that emotional connection, and plus Sacha Dhawan going all out as well. It's just, there's a lot of things that really stand out for me in this episode, but I mean, yes, I do agree with certain things, but for what we get, I'd rather have this than anything else, because it just felt like a celebration, not just to Joey Zero, like bringing back Graham and Sasha Master, and it brought a celebration to all of Doctor. And even though could it be the wrong decision to have something similar or something different, or celebrating Oliver's for 4 episodes in a row, I don't know. That's the thing. That's the more daunting thing I'd say as a fan is, because I don't want anyone getting cancelled out or it turning into a competition. I just want everything to be, fair and square. But for what it did, it's laid down the gauntlet, and it's hopefully the 60th will do the same regardless of, and hopefully do something amazing. But yeah, the whole episode and the whole Thasmin and Mango shining at the right time, it just felt like an episode of beautiful stuff and beautiful moments. I want to talk about my musical highlights and share some love for music. The Andor opening theme is beautiful, emotional, and very different to what you get in the other shows. Another great theme, of course, is the Book of Boba Fett. It's just an amazing one. And also, of course, the Doctor Who theme as usual, perfect. But individual soundtrack-wise, I think there's some amazing tracks. For example, when Din and Grogu reunite, anything to do with Thasmin, like the beach scene, which I've had a bit of an emotional attachment to on a number of occasions. That scene where the Doctor and Yaz say goodbye. Anything to do with Fennec and Boba, that's amazing. And that scene where Grogu's training, an amazing track. It's just a lot of great music this year, and thank you to all the composers and everyone involved. Thank you very much. What was your favourite highlight of 2022? Please comment down in the comment section or contact me on that Thasmin22 on Twitter, Facebook, and comment down below. I love to hear your opinions and I want to see what you guys have to say. So please comment and let's try and have a good conversation. Thank you for listening to my highlights of 2022. I hope you stick around throughout 2023 because I'm so excited to talk everything Doctor Who and Star Wars. And if you love what I do, please subscribe to the Thasmin Djarins YouTube channel. Or if you want to keep up to date, please visit and follow at Thasmin22 on Twitter and Facebook. And you'll find all the latest updates and when things will be released. Plus, I will also be doing it on the YouTube community as well for the channel. So there'll be updates then as soon as I can share any announcements and stuff. Thank you for watching and I'll see you in 2023. Bye guys! Happy New Year from Thasmin and Djarins. Thank you for listening to the podcast. Subscribe to Thasmin Djarins and stay tuned for more podcasts. See ya!